Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks from Modi'in in Israel. The Israel Brief is brought to you every Monday to Thursday by these guys, Lay of the Land, and we take a look at those top stories making the headlines in Israel. Now, I do have to apologize for any background noise you might be hearing. There's a little bit of drilling, a little bit of knocking happening in the apartments around me, but we'll push through because we're brave and strong. So it is day 418 of Israel's war with Hamas following the attacks on the 7th of October. And it's going to be interesting to see how long we keep this countdown going, because there are two things we are counting down on the Israel Brief. The number of days, especially because for 418 days, 101 hostages, 97 of them taken on the 7th of October, have been held hostage. So we look forward to the days where we're not counting down hostages because they're all returned, and we're not counting down days because the war has come to an end. So on that subject, we begin with the first, which is our top story, that a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, the Iranian proxy that started firing on Israel on the 8th of October 2023, the ceasefire has come into effect. Now, it was announced late last night by US President Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron. Early in the evening, Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed the nation, and he said that we have dealt Hezbollah a significant blow. And he also cautioned, if there is any violation, Israel will fire again. If our communities cannot have calm, Israel will fire again. If any tunnels are built, Israel will fire again. If Hezbollah moves south of the Litani River, Israel will fire again. If Hezbollah seeks to rearm, Israel will fire again. So what we do know is that the 60-day ceasefire, we're hoping that it will last longer than that Hezbollah will retreat to north of the Litani River. At the moment, IDF troops are still stationed in southern Lebanon, they say, until the enforcement mechanism is effectively in place. Now, according to the agreement, there will be 5 nations that will enforce this. We don't know exactly which countries will be involved, but it will be headed by the United States. Now, one of the key agreements that the United States worked with Israel on is that Israel retains the right to fire if the ceasefire is broken by Hezbollah in any way. Now, there are some skeptics. The agreement was voted in by the war cabinets by 10-1. There are some skeptics. Former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett blasted the agreement, as did one of the mayors from one of the northern towns, the mayor of Metula, Mr. David Azullah. He also said he's skeptical of Hezbollah keeping to the agreement. One of Israel's stated war goals is that we can return our now over 40,000 internal refugees who were evacuated from their homes on the 8th of October 2023 back to their communities to rebuild their homes, their farms, their businesses, and whatever else has been fired on consistently for over a year by Hezbollah. What we have seen in Lebanon are massive convoys driving towards the south. This is despite both the IDF and the Lebanese army saying, please don't do that, wait until we've given you the go-ahead. However, the Lebanese Speaker of the Parliament said that all Lebanese should return to their homes no matter what. So I would err on the side of caution. If I was in Lebanon, you don't know if there's anything that's unexploded or what is happening. So the Lebanese army is making their way down south. It is hoped that they will be part of forming a buffer between the Litani River and the northern border of Israel. And this is a prime opportunity for the people of Lebanon, for the Lebanese army, to take back their country. It has been hijacked by Iran and Hezbollah for too long. Lebanon, from what we see, is a magnificent country, and what we would love so much in Israel is if one day we could add Lebanon to the circle of peace, to the Abraham Accords, and have that bond between our northern border or our northern neighbor and us developed as our ties with Bahrain, with Morocco, and the United Arab Emirates have done. Now, what is interesting is that Hamas have signaled their readiness to reach a ceasefire agreement. Hamas said that they welcome the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, and that they too seek a ceasefire. This is very interesting, and this shows that Israel has sufficiently broken that coordination and communication between the two terror entities. The reason that Hezbollah entered the war was in a show of strength to Hamas. That effectively has been broken. And Iran also welcomed the ceasefire. They said the Zionist entity has been brought to their knees. Well, not exactly, because from where we stand, we've taken out the entire top command of Hezbollah. We eliminated Hassan Nasrallah and severely hurt thousands of Hezbollah operatives through the pager operation, and have dealt Hezbollah's missile and drone capability a massive, massive blow. Last night, just before the ceasefire went into effect, about 8 aircraft bombed 20 Hezbollah sites across Beirut. But so back to Hamas. Hamas say they have signaled to mediators Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey that they are ready for a ceasefire, and talks on how to, in their words, exchange prisoners. Now, just a reminder that any Palestinians that are held in Israeli jails are prisoners with blood on their hand that have committed terror acts in the past, and that Hamas is holding 101 hostages, including 2 children and including men in their 80s. The US administration have said that they will start to move for a ceasefire starting today. Not a ceasefire starting today, but talks starting today. We now go to France and the United Kingdom, and the French Foreign Ministry said earlier today that Prime Minister Netanyahu and Defense Minister, or former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, would not likely be arrested by the French authorities because they are granted a certain amount of immunity to the arrest warrants that the ICC announced at the end of last week. Israel is not a party to the Rome Statute, therefore not a party to the ICC, and as such have immunity. Now, what is interesting is that we don't have a definitive position coming from the UK Labour Party. They've said that they will abide by international law, as has Canada and a few European countries. But the UK said that they will not immediately arrest Netanyahu should he land on UK soil. But what is interesting is that the Biden administration have lambasted the ICC and have also cautioned France and other countries that the warrants of arrest for Israel are absolutely preposterous, drawing some kind of moral equivalence between a nihilistic terrorist organization and a democratically elected leader. They say that it's absolutely egregious. But the incoming Trump administration have warned of severe consequences and sanctions, not just for what they call the kangaroo court of the ICC, but for any country that supports the warrants of arrest. So let's see what happens. It's sure going to be very, very interesting. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, I hope that you are paying attention. And finally, yesterday we brought you news that The former UN Special Advisor on the Prevention of Genocide, Dr. Alice Nderitu, was fired because she would not call Israel's actions in Gaza a genocide. She said it, first of all, does not fit the criteria, and cautioned against the labeling of mass casualty events as genocide, saying that genocide has a specific definition of intention. Now, UN Watch, which is a phenomenal NGO that is dedicated to exposing the iniquities of the United Nations, has offered her a job. No word yet if she has accepted, but let's hope that those job offers come in for a woman of the greatest integrity, Dr. Alice Nderitu. Now, for the audience question of the day, and it comes from Rose in Cape Town, who says, with the ceasefire agreement going into effect, is it safe to travel to Israel again, and have airlines started their flights? Well, Rose, no airlines have announced resuming flights to Israel just yet. I'm sure we will see in the coming days, but I can tell you that it is perfectly safe to come to Israel. Yes, we have had those sirens and rockets over the last now nearly 14 months, but we are so well prepared in Israel with exactly what to do when we hear sirens. But now with the ceasefire, which hopefully will last and will be enforced, we really, really welcome everybody coming here. Our tourism industry desperately needs it. So if you're looking for a fabulous place to visit, please consider Israel top of your list of destinations. And also a reminder to get in those nominations for this week's Mensch and Moron. It looks like the Moron of the Week is heading towards a unanimous consensus. Who it is, I will reveal all tomorrow. So I have posted on my personal Facebook page and on the Lay of the Land Facebook page, which you can find at Lottel's site, a post to post your recommendations below. So guys, get to it. And thank you for joining me for the Wednesday edition of the Israel Brief. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is always at Lottel's site. Our YouTube channel right at the Israel Brief. If you like us, please hit that red subscribe button. We are on X at Lay of the Land 5, on Instagram at my private page, Rolene_Marks, and on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks. Guys, God bless you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care of yourselves and of each other. And I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.